Where can you go in Oahu to get the best views with the shortest amount of hiking possible, as well as some helpful tips like where should I park my car? And one thing that I wish people would share, where can you go afterwards to get a really good bite to eat or a fun drink coming up? Okay, so I may have done something kind of ridiculous on one of these hikes, so stay tuned till the end to see what I did. But if you're new here, aloha. I'm Christine with Where in the World is Seattle, and I make travel videos every week to help you get up, get out, and go travel. So if you like to travel, consider subscribing. I spent 2 weeks on this amazing island, and let's dive into the hikes. Starting with the Makapuu Point Lighthouse, which is a paved path, and it is so much bang for your buck because it is views the entire time. This is a very easy trail, and I love to use all trails. And so this is a 2.5 mile out and back. Again, stunning views the entire time. There is a parking lot, and I can see it getting filled up. I went on an off day and it was still pretty full, but it's free parking at the base. And another helpful tip to know is that the hours for the parking lot and for this hike are 7 a.m. to 6:45 p.m.
One thing that I love about this hike is that there's so many places to stop for additional lookout points and views. The whole thing is paved, which makes it super easy, but the view isn't just from the top. The view is happening the entire time you're walking. There's so many places to stop. Look at the views.
And what should you do afterwards? Nearby, go to Kona Brewing. Oh, such a fun brew house. They have so many amazing beers, or you can be like me and have a glass of wine and a really great lunch. If you're looking for something a little bit more challenging, but also has really stunning views, especially at sunrise, consider going and doing the Koko Crater hike. So beautiful. All Trails rates this one as a moderate hike, but I could see this being a little bit of a challenge, especially if it's raining, it's all wet, or if you're like me and you're kind of short and stepping over these huge railroad tracks might be a little bit of a challenge. But a lot of people come here to work out. And a good time, if you're competitive like I am, is from base to top, get there in 20 minutes or less. If you're wondering what my time was, stopping for lots of photos along the way, 30 minutes. But if you don't like to hike up, consider this.
One tip I have, if you're feeling tired during this hike, stop, take a look at the view, and don't forget that you can just take the elevator up. It's located just kidding. You gotta do that.
Just kidding, there's definitely no elevator, but there are really stunning views, especially of Hanauma Bay, so pretty. And let's talk about where you should park. When you're coming in, there's a really large parking lot because it's shared with tennis courts and baseball fields and other things. And speaking of which, that baseball field, that's where you're heading towards. It's about a 5-minute walk to get there before you start hiking up all of these railroad tracks. So free parking is awesome. And afterwards, when you head out, one of my favorite meals on the island was having brunch at Liko's. Amazing food and really amazing service, and also really amazing views, but a great spot to stop afterwards for your brunch and your drink. This next hike, so short, but so beautiful. The Lanikai Pillbox was one of my favorites, which, by the way, if you're getting some value out of this video, cheers that like button and consider subscribing. And if you have other tips of other hikes in Oahu that you've done or you're considering, tell me in the comments below so we can help the community find more amazing hikes and views. And these hiking tips, as well as other ones, will be on my Instagram, so make sure you check me out over there. Okay, Lanikai Pillbox. This hike is so short, but so pretty, and it's less than a mile round trip, and All Trails does rate it as an easy hike. If you go on a day like I did, where it is and had been raining, it can be really slippery, especially at the beginning, because it's kind of steep and a little bit muddy. So make sure you wear tennis shoes on this hike. And another tip, make sure you go, especially for this hike, when the weather is really clear, because you want to be able to get that view out to the Twin Islands.
That was a really awesome hike, but where I'm parked right now is in a really small neighborhood with no parking. And this is a super popular hike. So my tip for you is you gotta go during a super off time. I can't even imagine what you would do if there was no parking. There's no parking lots, you're in the residential, and there's only a specific number of designated spots. Come during an off time. There's no parking. I came during off time. Glad I found parking.
And what should you do afterwards? Drive down to Kailua Square and go eat at Cinnamon's. Oh my gosh, such a good brunch spot. Such a good place to get your spam and rice, but also don't miss all of the great pancakes they have. I tried the guava pancakes. I know you can recognize from these views which hike is coming up next, but it is a must do if you're on Oahu. A short 1.8 mile hike and rated moderate, although I would call it easy. It's a great one to do, especially if you're with the family or if you are staying in Waikiki and are trying to go somewhere that's close in proximity. I love this hike so much I did it twice. Here are a few helpful tips to know.
I am sitting at the base right now, which is well supported with bathrooms and a little snack stand, etc. But it took me less than an hour with a ton of stops to take pictures. Another thing to know, if you're walking in like I did, it's $5 to get in, but if you're driving in, it's $10. They have a lot of parking. Get here early because it does fill up.
And speaking of filling up, it's important to know that this is definitely one of the busiest hikes out there. And at the time in which I was visiting in March 2021, it is required to wear a mask during the entire hike. So that's just something to be aware of. And also the park hours here are 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So you can't visit outside of those hours. And there are so many great lookout points as you're hiking up. So make sure you stop for those. And even before you get into the Diamond Head hike, there is one other stop with a lookout point. You do have to pay for parking, but if you want to try riding your bike to Diamond Head,
just a heads up, if you ride a bike to Diamond Head to hike it, it's a little bit of a hill that you gotta go up. It takes about 20 to 30 minutes from Waikiki, and then you gotta park your beaky bike, walk another 10 minutes. Oh, I'm sweating. You can do it, put your back into it.
That was a fun adventure. And another fun adventure is what happens if it starts pouring rain on you during this hike. It can get slippery if it's raining, so make sure you're aware of that. And what should you do afterwards? Head over to the Kaimuki area and eat at Mud Hen Water. Oh, so delicious. This next hike is if you're heading to the North Shore of Oahu, which I have an entire video about the North Shore, so check the link in the description below if you want more info on that. But I loved hiking the Ehukai Pillbox hike, and this one is a 2.3 mile hike. All Trails does rate it as a moderate hike. I did it with my family. It was very, very muddy when we did it. And as you walk in, you'll see on the side people piling up their walking sticks. If it's at all muddy, I suggest you grab one of them because it will help you during this hike.
One tip for this hike is it dries out a lot toward the top, but prior to that, if it's been raining at all, it's muddy.
Free parking. It's an elementary school park area. You have to park in the parking spots. If you park along the side on the sidewalk, you will get ticketed, and there were policemen there ticketing the cars. So make sure you park in the literal parking spots. And what should you do afterwards? Go eat at the shrimp trucks. Oh, so good. I loved eating at Fumi's shrimp truck, but you got a million options for him. This next hike I did because when I asked all of you on Instagram, what should I do on Oahu? Everyone said go to a waterfall. And so I was expecting to go on the North Shore to Lulumahu Falls, super short, 0.4 mile hike, but it's really just visiting the waterfall, and it's a $20 entry per person. And at this point of my trip, my family had joined me, and so we are a group of 6, and so only one of us wanted to go, so it didn't seem worth it, but link in the description below if you want more info about that hike. Instead, I chose to do something closer to Waikiki, and a lot of the waterfall hikes around here are really long hikes, and I wanted something shorter. So I did the Lulumahu hike, and a couple things about it. One is that it said it was private on All Trails, yet when you park in the parking lot, it seemed just fine to go in. The other thing is that the trail for this one is not exactly marked, and so I was off trail most of it on accident, but you hike out to a really beautiful waterfall, and afterwards you should go to Duke's on Waikiki and have a Mai Tai. Okay, let's talk about Christine being totally ridiculous, which if you enjoy that, consider signing up for my email newsletter, link in the description below. I send out helpful tips, not too often, but I'll email you every now and then. All right, the Pu'u'ohulu hike on the west side. In other words, the pink pillbox. All Trails rates this easy 1.6 mile hike as being moderate. And there's something really important you should know.
This has definitely been one of my most favorite hikes. It's incredibly beautiful. But one thing I highly recommend is that you make sure you go on the path. The path, oh my gosh, super easy. Otherwise, you can go the wrong way like I did, and you basically scramble up the side of the mountain using ropes, which is also really beautiful. It cuts half the distance off going up. This is the part where it forks. So as you're coming up, you can take a left where these people are going, or you can follow this up to the right. Actually, if you're up for the challenge, you should do it. It was pretty fun, but you got to use all fours, hands and feet coming up. Otherwise, easy peasy path.
So I may have accidentally rock climbed up, but this hike should be pretty easy because when I got to the top, I changed into a hula outfit and droned myself dancing the hula. In an old life, I used to dance and perform hula. And this hike is so easy that I just wore that hula outfit while hiking down the mountain. But when you get to the bottom, tons of free parking, and it's all along the street, so it should be relatively easy to find a spot. And what should you do afterwards? Drive a short distance away to Boyd's Fish Market and get some fresh poke and take it to the beach. Consider checking out the mermaid caves or just sit on the beach like I did and enjoy your poke with a view. Tell me in the comments below which hike you would do or which spot you would want to eat at. I loved hanging out in Oahu. Make sure you check out all my posts on Instagram as well as my entire playlist of Oahu videos. I'm Christine. I'm here every week with new videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.